It's July 8th, 2014. A young German tourist walks into Varna Airport, Bulgaria. He's alone, visibly shaken. Within minutes, and without warning, he runs as if he's fleeing death itself. This is the last known image of Lars Mittank. Since that moment, nothing. No body, no message, no trace. Today, more than a decade later, the world is still asking, what happened to Lars Mittank? Get ready to dive into one of the most mysterious disappearances of the modern era. We'll examine everything, the facts, the doubts, and the truths buried deep in the shadows of time, from his final words to his unexplained escape and the chilling theories that still haunt the internet. This is the Lars Mittank case, and it may be more real and more terrifying than you ever imagined. Who was Lars Mittank? Before becoming the name behind one of Europe's most unsettling disappearances, Lars Joachim Mittank was simply Lars. Born on February 9, 1986, in the town of Itzehoe, northern Germany, Lars was the kind of person you'd rarely notice for the wrong reasons. He worked as a technician at a power plant, was 28 years old, and lived what most would consider a normal, solid life. A dedicated employee, a caring son, a reliable friend. According to colleagues and relatives, Lars was responsible, helpful, and respectful. He was especially close to his mother, Sandra Mittank. They spoke almost every day. It wasn't just affection. It was a deep bond of trust. He consulted her about daily decisions, shared everything, which makes his final phone call to her all the more disturbing. But we'll get to that in a moment. As for his mental health, nothing pointed to any red flags. No diagnoses, no hospitalizations, no medications. His medical records were clean. Lars' mother has always insisted. Her son never showed signs of psychological issues. On the contrary, he was calm, quiet, grounded. He didn't drink heavily, didn't use drugs, showed no violent tendencies. In June of 2014, he decided to travel with 5 friends to Bulgaria, more specifically to the Golden Sands Resort, famous for its beaches, parties, and affordable price. It was his first international trip without family, and maybe that's why he was particularly excited, yet slightly anxious. According to his friends, Lars was reserved but friendly. He'd say yes to new things, but always with caution, the kind of guy you take to a wild night out, but who stays on the edge, watching before joining in. For the first few days at the resort, everything seemed to go as planned. Sun, beach, laughs, and local beer. Lars messaged his mom, sent pictures, said he was having a great time, until something changed. And it's this change, sudden, invisible, and still unexplained, that turns the story of a seemingly healthy, happy German man into one of the decade's greatest mysteries. What makes an ordinary man, with no criminal past, no illness, no visible trauma, run in sheer terror from an airport, as if being chased by something or someone no one else can see? He was one of us. Could have been your cousin, your coworker, the friend who helps you build furniture on the weekend. And maybe that's why this case hits so hard. Because it's not about a criminal. It's not about an expected victim. It's about someone who was never supposed to disappear. June 30th, 2014. Lars Mittank boards a flight bound for Bulgaria. Alongside 5 friends, he arrives at the beach resort of Golden Sands, a hot spot for young Europeans looking for sun, parties, and cheap relaxation. In the first few days, everything seemed normal. The group enjoyed the beaches, tried the local cuisine, and immersed themselves in the region's vibrant nightlife. Lars remained somewhat reserved, as usual, but he seemed fine. He laughed, drank moderately, and texted his mother. But then, on the night of July 5th, something changes. At one of the local bars, Lars gets into a heated argument with other German tourists. Reportedly, The dispute was over football. Some say the men were Bayern Munich supporters. Lars, on the other hand, was a Werder Bremen fan. No one knows exactly what was said, or whether things escalated in that moment. But the next morning, Lars tells his friends he was beaten by 4 men, and he believes they were the same individuals from the bar. The strange part, no one from the group witnessed the fight. Lars showed up at the hotel the next morning, pale, shaken, and with visible injuries to his face and left ear. The impact allegedly caused a ruptured left eardrum, a painful injury that affects hearing and balance, requiring great care. According to friends, the pain was becoming serious. On July 7th, Lars saw a local doctor who confirmed the rupture and advised him not to fly, as air pressure during flight could cause permanent damage or even complete hearing loss. The doctor then prescribed the antibiotic cefprozil to fight a possible infection related to the trauma, a common drug used for respiratory and ear infections. But as we'll soon explore, it can also trigger a rare and dangerous side effect. Following the doctor's advice, Lars insists his friends return to Germany without him. He says he's fine, that he'll feel better soon, that he'll catch a flight the next day. And so, he checks into the modest Hotel Color, just minutes from the airport. A practical, temporary choice. The plan was simple: fly home the next day, but that plan would never come to pass. It was during this final night on Bulgarian soil that the first clear signs of paranoia and panic began to surface. The day of the disappearance. It's the early morning of July 8th, 2014. Lars Mittank is alone in his room at the Hotel Color. He can't sleep. Suddenly he calls his mother. His voice is different, nervous, distressed. Lars whispers something no one expected to hear. That was the last time Sandra Mittank ever heard her son's voice. Around 9 a.m., Lars leaves the hotel and heads for the airport. His return flight to Germany was scheduled for that day. He's carrying a light backpack with documents, wallet, and phone. Airport staff described him as tense and disoriented. Lars enters the airport's medical clinic, where he's examined by the on-duty doctor, Dr. Kosta Kostov. He was very anxious. He didn't want to take off his backpack. He kept saying someone was trying to kill him. I'd never seen anything like it. Dr. Kosta Kostov, Varna Airport physician. The doctor tries to calm him down, says his eardrum looks better, he's clear to fly. But what happens next defies all logic. Without warning, Lars gets up. He runs. He shouts at the medical staff, "I don't want to die here. I have to leave." He leaves everything behind in the clinic: passport, phone, wallet, money, medicine, everything. And then he's gone. That was the last recorded image of Lars Mittank. From that moment on, no credible witness ever saw him again. No trace, no body, no answers. It was as if he had simply vanished. What the police discovered. After Lars vanished, Bulgarian authorities were alerted immediately. The investigation began right there, inside Varna Airport. The video of his escape was analyzed frame by frame. The surrounding area was searched by foot with sniffer dogs, drones, and dozens of volunteers, but there was no sign of Lars. German police stepped in. Interpol issued a global yellow notice. Hospitals, psychiatric clinics, homeless shelters, all were contacted. Over the next few weeks, hundreds were interviewed. Every possible lead was chased, but none led anywhere. Desperate for answers, Lars's mother, Sandra Mittank, hired private investigators. The family funded trips, examined reports, and followed rumors, some coming from as far as Scandinavia, the Balkans, and Eastern Europe. For years, not a single verifiable lead. No phone calls, no bank activity, no traffic camera identifications, nothing. Each passing month blurred the line between hope and heartbreak. Lars's case became a European enigma. But headlines couldn't bring him back, only more questions surfaced. How does a young, healthy man, no criminal record, no severe mental history, vanish in broad daylight in the middle of Europe without a single trace? It was as if the world simply closed behind him. Theories surrounding the case. Psychotic episode induced by antibiotics? The medication sofrosal can, in rare cases, cause neurological side effects. There are reports of delusions, paranoia, and severe anxiety, schizophrenia, or sudden mental breakdown. Some experts suggest the possibility of emerging schizophrenia, common in men in their early 20s. There's no known history, but Lars's behavior raises questions. Was he really being followed by criminals? Lars told his mother he was being followed. Some believe he may have unknowingly gotten involved with dangerous people after the bar fight. Voluntary disappearance? Although unlikely, there's a theory that Lars disappeared by choice. But he left everything behind: passport, phone, and money. Sightings over the years, sporadic reports have come from several countries: Germany, Bulgaria, even Canada. None have been confirmed, no solid evidence, no theory has ever been proven, no definitive answers. More than a decade later, Lars Mittank is still missing, and each theory raises more questions than answers. Conclusion: 11 years without answers. Since that day at Varna Airport, no one has seen Lars Mittank again. 11 years have passed. The police still list the case as open, but no new leads have surfaced. No body has been found. No message. No confirmation. His mother, Sandra Mittank, has never given up. She continues to ask for public help, sharing Lars's photos, and holding on to the belief that her son is still alive, somewhere. On the internet, the mystery has become the subject of forums, videos, conspiracy theories, and amateur investigations. But the truth remains hidden. And you? What do you think really happened? Was it a psychotic episode? Was he being followed? Or did he simply vanish by choice? If you found this case compelling, subscribe to the channel for more real, mysterious, and unresolved stories. Until the next investigation.